Hey YouTube, what's up? It's your girl Peach, and today we'll be diving into Ruth chapter 1. If you're new to my channel, this is a channel where I showcase my lifestyle and I talk about spirituality because God can make your life better. So today, if you're new, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you are interested in my content and it brings you joy, go ahead and leave a comment for me. I like when you guys engage. And I always like to leave the disclaimer that please, even though I'm reading the word to you, please go back and read it yourself. Do not take my word for everything. Go ahead, get in the Bible, edify yourself, study to show yourself approved. Make sure you know the word for yourself. Yes, I'm reading because I want to study and I want to introduce the word of God to people who don't know about it, or for people who even do know about it. But I also recommend going back and reading the word for yourself so you also have that personal understanding. And if there's anything I'm reading that you don't understand, it's okay to go before the Lord, pray, and ask Him for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So, with no further ado, let's get into it. During the time of Judges, there was a famine in the land. A man left Bethlehem in Judah with his wife and 2 sons to stay in the territory of Moab for a while. The man's name was Elimelech, and his wife's name was Naomi. Boom, let's go ahead and get started. We got 2 characters. We got Elimelech, we have his wife Naomi. The names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. Boom. So we got Elimelech, his wife Naomi, their 2 sons, Mahlon, Chilion. Okay? They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem in Judah. They entered the fields of Moab and settled there. Naomi's husband Elimelech died, and she was left with her 2 sons. That was a very quick turn of events. Okay? Her sons took Moabite women as their wives. One was named Orpah, and the second was named Ruth. So, we have a couple. They're leaving the land because of a famine. They go ahead and settle in Moab. As soon as they get to Moab, it seems like, or shortly after, don't know the time frame at this moment, Elimelech passes away. She has her 2 sons. They married 2 Moabite women. We got Orpah now, and we got Ruth. All right? So, after they lived in Moab about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion died. So now you know Naomi, these are her 2 sons. Her husband's gone already. Now her 2 sons are gone. Like, okay. And Naomi was left without her 2 children and without her husband. I don't care how many years were in between. Death is hard. Like, death is hard. I'm not going to lie. So for someone to lose their spouse and their children, I could see why it said despair, death, and depression, because I mean, like, for real, be for real. Like, if you step back and you think about your life right now, whoever you are watching this on the other side, let's just really think about the context of this story, because we probably have all read Ruth before. Maybe you haven't, I don't know. But when we read things, we just kind of read through and just don't attach any emotion or feeling to it. But if this were to happen to you in modern day, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, all of your siblings, how would you really feel when that's over with? Just think about it. All right, so I don't know about y'all, but I wouldn't feel too great. So we're starting at verse 6, and the title for this section says, The Return to Judah, Emptiness. Oh my gosh. She and her daughters-in-law set out to return from the territory of Moab because she had heard in Moab that the Lord had paid attention to his people's need by providing them food. She left the place where she had been living, accompanied by her 2 daughters-in-law, and traveled along the road leading back to the land of Judah. So now remember, it was Elimelech, Naomi, their 2 sons, Chilion, Mahlon. Her husband died. Her 2 sons died. Now she was left with her 2 daughters-in-law. So we have Orpah and we have Ruth. They went ahead and set out going back to Judah because they had heard that it was food over there. You feel me? Like, if I hear food is somewhere, we going. You know what I'm saying? All right. Anyways, moving right along. Okay. Verse 8. Naomi said to them, Each of you go back to your mother's home. May the Lord show kindness to you as you have shown to the dead and to me. May the Lord grant each of you rest in the house of a new husband. She kissed them and they wept loudly. She literally was like, look, my husband's gone. My sons are gone. I love y'all. Go somewhere. Go find a new husband. Just go live your life. Go live your life. She kissed them, and it says they wept loudly, which means that they were emotional about this. Just think about it. These women were married to her sons, and they both died. So they're still mourning their husbands, you know, and then on top of that, having to leave the only connection that they have to their husband alone. That's hard. That's really hard for both parties. Honestly, it's a really hard situation. But we need to read on and find out what happens. Verse 10 says, they said to her, we insist on returning with you to your people. But Naomi replied, return home, my daughters? Why do you want to go with me? Am I able to have any more sons who could become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. Go on, for I'm too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me to have a husband tonight and to bear sons, would you be willing to wait for them to grow up? Would you restrain yourselves from remarrying? No, my daughters, my life is much too bitter for you to share because the Lord's hand has turned against me. So Naomi was like, look, go. And they was like, nah. We're going to go with you, Mom. It's okay. Like, we got you. We're here for you. We're down. And she's like, no, get away. Go away. Go find you a man. Because Naomi was like, I don't know if you think I'm going to find a husband tonight. And even if I did, and I was to bear a son with him, are you really going to wait until he grows up? Y'all are already grown. Like, she's like, come on, be for real. Just go home. Go to your land. Do your thing. I'm sorry this happened. My bad, kind of thing. Like, just, I love y'all, but just go, right? All right. So, verse 14. Again, they wept loudly, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. Naomi said, look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Follow your sister-in-law. So, Orpah was like, I bet I'm out. Ruth clung to her, meaning she held on to her like, no, I'm not leaving you. I don't care what you say, lady. I'm not leaving you. It says, but Ruth replied, don't plead with me to abandon you or to return and not follow you. For wherever you go, I will go. And wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord punish me and do so severely if anything but death separates you and me. Okay. I feel like Ruth is like the definition of what we call a ride or die in today's generation, because she's like, look, your God, my God, your people, my people. Where you die, I die. Where you live, I live. And if I was to disregard any of these things I'm saying out of my mouth, may the Lord punish me and do so severely. So she's making like a decree. Like, if I mess up, let the Lord destroy me at this point. She's that serious about staying with her mother-in-law. And I mean, I was reading straight from the word. That felt a little poetic. But it was real. This is the word of God. This is what it says. And I mean, this is the CSB version. So I don't want to hear any people coming in like, Rachel, that's not exactly what it says. Listen, this is the context of what was being said. So that's what we're going with in this moment. All right. Verse 18 says, when Naomi saw Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped talking to her. Because why is she wasting her time? This girl already told you, I'm loyal, I'm down. Let's go. All right. The two of them traveled until they came to Bethlehem. When they entered Bethlehem, the whole town was excited about their arrival, and the local woman exclaimed, can this be Naomi? So, you know, they was pulling up, and it's just like, is that Naomi? If it was Jamaicans, they'd be like, Naomi that? Sorry, y'all, that had to come out. But all right. With that being said, verse 20 says, don't call me Naomi. Call me Mara. She answered, for the Almighty has made me very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why do you call me Naomi, since the Lord has opposed me and the Almighty has afflicted me? So Naomi came back from the territory of Moab with her daughter-in-law, Ruth the Moabitess. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. So this was a really interesting opening to Ruth. We got a lot of stuff going on. We have a woman who has her husband, her 2 sons. Her husband dies, her 2 sons die. She's going through what she thinks is going to be a separation from both of her daughters-in-law, but one of them is like, absolutely not. I'm staying with you. I'm going where you go. I'm going to die where you die. Your God is going to be my God. And the other daughter-in-law is like, all right, bet. I'm going to take your offer on this. I'm going to go back home. Now, she pulls up to her hometown. They like, is that Naomi? What happened to Naomi? And she's just like, hey, look, listen. Don't even call me Naomi. My new name is Mara. Don't even associate me with that name, because I ain't even that no more. I'm a whole nother person, because I feel like the Lord has turned his hand against me. I am bitter right now, and it's Mara, okay? Call me Mara. And that's where we're ending off. And basically it says that they ended up in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest, which means that obviously there was no famine in Bethlehem because they was getting ready to get barley. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah? All right. But, okay. But on the real, do y'all see the level of loyalty in Ruth? Because that's something that is just so big. Not even to reflect on today's society, but I don't have a choice. I don't think there is this same level of loyalty, or it's very rare anyway, to find this level of loyalty amongst families and even friendships today. But it's a really good example of what true loyalty looks like.